no one higher up in the games industry is going, why is Al Pacino presenting an award for video games? Like, how many video games? Do you reckon he's played Elden Ring?
I don't think he's held a controller in his life, Al Pacino. It's like, yeah, it's great that he's delivering the award for Best Actor, at least. But where's Andy Serkis? Do you know what I mean? Like, Andy Serkis should be delivering that award.
So many industries have awards ceremonies, and no one else cares apart from the people in the industry.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
That's what it should be. Like, we're trying to be recognized by our peers. We're not trying to get recognized by the general public.
Not trying to use it as a platform to make money.
Right. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Just as, like, the camera panned out, like, you could see, like, security rushing him. And I was like, all right, that was weird. And then Rachel was like, he said something about Bill Clinton. And I was like, no, he didn't. It's like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, calm down, Rachel.
I know.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I know it's been a long show, but no, he didn't. I lost count of the amount of flutes that he had.
He was like, one flute.
Right.
Two flutes.
It was
3 flutes.
It was incredible. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Ubisoft concept artist Vin Hill, and I am joined, as ever, by the indie developer, Mr. Christopher Jarvis.
Hello.
Hello, and he's laughing because he's got his significant over there in the background watching someone, probably grinning at him and trying to like make him feel like a fool, which is all fair. I've been there a few times, so it's hard, man. Like doing a podcast with someone else in the room.
I'll try. I'll muddle through.
Yes. It's been a hot minute. Like as people probably have noticed, like it's been quite sporadic over the last few weeks because me and Chris probably have been like pretty damn busy. Like I'm in the middle of a move. Chris has been busy with a couple of things. We'll talk about
illness being one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about all this sort of stuff one day, and it'll be a good story to tell. It's just for now, we're still in the thick of it. So yeah, we'll absolutely talk about it one day though. We'll see.
That'll make one hell of a podcast episode.
Yeah, it will. Ugh. Tease. If you do want to hear about that, then please like and subscribe, and you will hear about that future story. It is interesting, I promise you. It might be a while before we actually tell it, but we will tell it one day, we promise. So yeah, Chris, how's it going, man? It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's going well. Working on Focus Find in my spare time that I do have. Some side projects here and there.
Yeah,
I can't talk about. Very busy, very full life. Can't complain. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, very busy. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a move. I have started opening up Long Gone again though. So working on my own indie game again, which is nice. I'm gonna get a lot done over the Christmas break, I think, because now that work's ramping down a bit, I can start focusing on that and keep that to a steady pace again, which I'm actually really looking forward to. I'm really excited to get back into that game because like I keep getting attention from it on the internet, and I'm just like, I really need to get back to that thing because people keep asking me about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping back into it. That's for sure. But other than that, man, yeah, it's just been a lot of work, just tired, sleepy, but that should be on the mend at this point, which is good. I
actually played God of War Ragnarok. I actually managed to, because I had sickness. You've played God of War Ragnarok?
I have. I've been playing it, but I won't be able to play it for a while now because I've just packed my PS5. I'm not going to be able to touch it for a couple of months. But I did get a sizable chunk into it. I put a good 20 hours into that game. I guess we should talk about that first then.
We can talk about that now.
Yeah.
How did that feel, playing a video game? Like, how long has it been for you?
It's been a while. Like, since the last game that I played was
Elden Ring,
was
right?
Elden
Which
Ring.
be the last AAA.
That was the last one. And that was like when it first came out. Like I platinumed that game and work just ramped up, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to play a game for a while. And it's like I've really not touched much AAA games, that's for sure. Like there's so many games on my list, like Requiem, I really want to play Plague's Tale. I really want to play Dying Light 2. I still haven't gotten around to that. But God of War was a hard one to ignore, so it was the first one that I picked up, and I pre-ordered it like 6 months ago because I sort of trust Sony Santa Monica at this point. And like it just popped up on my feed, and I was like, I forgot about that game. I did pre-order it, and like I better put some hours into this. But yeah, like what about you? Like how are you finding it?
Yeah, it had huge expectations, and it somehow did manage to surpass them, which I was really surprised about. Yep. Really, really enjoyed it. Very minor criticisms. Got emotional in some like 2 or 3 places. I welled up a bit. So it got me.
Have you finished? Have you actually finished the game?
I finished the main campaign. I finished the main campaign.
Okay. Like you're way further
Yeah.
than me then. Like I'm only like
Yeah.
halfway through it, I think. So
Yeah,
like
that's what I was doing. I had to take, well, I didn't have to. I just happened to have like literally 4 days off sick, and so that's all I
Perfect.
felt like doing. So it was just my sickness time.
Yeah.
And it's a long slog. It's a long game. It feels long, or maybe just because I was sick and it's a regular game and it just felt really long.
From what, yeah, I kind of get that impression too. I mean, I was having a look through the chapter list because sometimes like when you get like a few hours into a game, like I wonder how long this thing actually is, because there's quite a lot. There's either a lot moving or there isn't enough moving, and you're like, oh, I don't know how long this is, and then you check like the chapter list, and it's like, okay, this one is way longer than the first game. Kind of, it is different, like in terms of like the vibe and stuff, because like it's not just like Kratos and Atreus anymore. It's like the best of, like everyone's just going off by themselves. It kind of feels like the third Lord of the Rings movie. It's just like everyone's splintered off at different points and everyone's doing different things, and you're constantly getting joined by like second people that isn't Atreus quite a lot. But yeah, like the only, like it is a great game. The only criticism I've really got of it is the sometimes like there are sections that can drag a little bit, that it's just like not as like interesting to me, but that is a very personal thing. Like the first time that you play as Atreus by himself, spoiler alert, I guess it's not really a spoiler because I think it's been well advertised at this point. There are sections with Atreus where it's like it drags a little bit, and it's like, all right, let's wrap this up. Like let's get back to, I want to go back to the God of War bit.
My expectation was like, oh, this will be like an hour's game.
Yeah.
Segment, and it's like, oh no, it's more like 2 or 3 hours long.
It
and
drags
like,
a little.
And then with cutscenes by himself and other people, and it's like, oh, okay, I thought it was just going to be a quick adventure, but no, it's a big old chunk of game.
Yeah.
So
no, it's very much in line with the first game. That might be a criticism for some people. It's not so much for me. I kind of like it when it feels like more of a continuation sometimes, and this is definitely one of those. Like, it will not. It doesn't reinvent the God of War wheel, that's for sure. It's very much in line with what it's doing. It does introduce new mechanics and things like that sort of like spice it up, and the story is mainly what you're there for. But yeah,
it did like in terms of mechanics, I think it was as perfect as the first game in that it iterated, added, but didn't take away from the core, and so that's hitting exactly the right sweet spot for me.
Exactly.
So yeah, mechanically it's near perfect. I couldn't fault it for game mechanics. And the pacing in which they're implemented as well. Like just enough challengement.
Yes,
just enough challengement spread out, and then it's like, oh, wait, I've forgotten this mechanic. I haven't used it in a few hours, and it's like, oh yeah, now I know.
Yeah,
and keeps it spicy.
That is my concern for like the next game. You know, like are they just going to keep adding stuff to the point where? Because I have gotten to that point, you know, where I'm fighting with Kratos, and there's so many different button combinations that I forget how to do half of them, and I just like I rely on
there's
just, like,
some
the
I don't
same
think
moves.
I ever did, or I might have done it once, but like, how did I do that? But
because you get offloaded like all these skill points in the start of the game. It's like, all right, cool, and you'd start unlocking stuff, and it's like, okay, it's this combination to do this move, and it's this combination to do that move. Like, yeah, sure, I'll figure it out later. You just never do, and I just never use half of them.
I think that's I think that's by design. I think it's like it was good for people that would just want to keep button bashing those same buttons that they want to bash, and then for the people that really want more and more and more, probably the younger kids, to be honest, let's face it, like 18-year-olds,
sure,
they can handle more inputs than we can remember, us old timers. And so they're like, more and more combos.
That's
awesome.
fun. That is fun. Yeah, I mean, I might just be too old for this game, I guess, but yeah, no, great game. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm looking forward to see where it goes. Like, especially people like yourself and just other people that I've seen online have just been really reacting to the story in particular really well. So it's like I'm interested to see where it goes by the end of it. But like, I mean, I just assumed that Kratos was gonna like kick the bucket in the last game. So if he makes it through this one, I'll be impressed. It's stuff like that. Well, yeah.
No spoilers from me. No spoilers.
I mean, if you played the first game, then you sort of know which sort of tension point they're sort of heading towards. So we'll see. But overall, like, I guess like this would be a good time to ask them, because you played a sizable amount of video games this year. Is this your game of the year? Before we actually go into the game of the year, because that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about.
I think it is. I think it is my game of the year. Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
What's yours?
Elden Ring, I think.
Okay. Well,
that's based on me playing half of God of War. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It might change by the end of it, but Elden Ring just caught me. I don't know what it was. I got the platinum in that game, which I never platinum Souls games, that's for sure. I put like a good 200 hours into that game. It was ridiculous. Great game. Undeniable. But lacked story, whereas God of War is probably a little bit lacking in like new mechanics sort of thing, but the story is elevating it. So they're very, very different games for what I'm sort of after, in a good way.
Definitely,
it's actually a really good thing. But yeah, I think Elden Ring edged it. But saying that, while I was watching the Game Awards, this was like the first year that I've like been paying attention to the Game Awards, and I've been like, I really don't care if God of War wins or if Elden Ring wins. Like I'm not like. Yeah. Dogging for one, you know.
You're not a fanboy for one. No,
yeah, it was just like if one of these guys wins, I get it. Like both sides of it, and I knew it would be one of them. I knew it would be between those two. They were the highest rated, like out of everyone. They were the highest praised, like certainly out of popularity and stuff. The only reason why I thought Elden Ring would edge it is just purely because
cross-platform,
more people can play it, and that's why when they do the Players' Voice Award during the Game Awards, it always. Like what always edges out is mobile games, because there's like hundreds of millions of people that play those games versus like the 10 million that play the normal AAA game. That's why Genshin Impact won that award. And people were like, oh my god, nobody, like, why would anyone vote for this? It's like, there's a lot more of those players out there, guys, than like anything that you're playing. So that's why. It's like if Minecraft was nominated, do you really think that it wouldn't win every single year? Like, it would. Think Roblox wouldn't win every year? Do you think Fortnite wouldn't win? Yeah, it's ludicrous. I don't know why people would think any different, but there it is.
Yeah, because I guess it comes down to what makes a game of the year. Is it player count? Is it critics' choice? Is it a combination of the two?
Yeah. That's one of my issues with the Game Awards, like overall, is because it's a popularity contest now. It's not like people in an academy like studying the game and be like, okay, why is this game of the year? Like in
the BAFTAs.
Right, exactly. Like, why not? Or like the Academy Awards, same thing. They should have an academy of games developers, like veteran games developers. And if they're in industry still, then they're not allowed to vote on their own stuff that they're affiliated with. Easy, done, fixed. Like, the fact that journalists are the ones that are voting for this stuff crawls me. Like, it really drives me insane.
Such a conflict of interest.
Yeah, massive. Like, especially because they've got to cut deals with these people that are making these games. So yeah, of course they're going to throw them up on. It's basically, if anyone's like following like the corruption stuff around FIFA, it's basically the Game Awards. Like, same thing. It's the exact same thing, and it's just, and nobody says anything about it, because the only people that are actually like reporting on this stuff are the journalists, so they're not going to mention it.
Yeah, no one higher up in the games industry is going, why is Al Pacino presenting an award for video games? Like, how many video games do you reckon he's played Elden Ring?
I don't think he's held a controller in his life, and that dude couldn't even talk on stage. I know he's Al Pacino. I know he's like cool guy, whatever.
He's a legend. He's an absolute master of his craft, but his craft has got nothing, but his craft is far removed from the industry that Game Awards celebrates.
Yeah, it's just like, stop it. I mean, the only like moment where I was like, finally Keely's like listening a little bit, was when they brought on a couple to give, I think it was the accessibility award, which was, I can't even remember that name, so it's just terrible. Like, it's kind of like defeats the point.
Pierce?
No, it was a couple of it was the people that made the original King's Quest, like back in the early 90s, like late 80s. And they're kind of old now and stuff, which is absolutely fine. But they're legends. Like, everyone knows King's Quest in the games industry, like in terms of like developers and stuff. Like, everyone sat in the crowd is just like, yes, we love these people. Because they're just like, they're sort of out of the industry, but like seeing them on stage present an award, it's like, they're the people that I want to see. Like, I want to see more of those. I want to see the people that made games of old, that really inspired everyone that is sat in that crowd waiting for an award. Like, those are the people that should be giving these things out. I don't want to see Daniel Craig on a big screen promoting his fucking movie. Like, I just don't care. Like, I don't see why that is. Like, Al Pacino, it's like, yeah, it's great that he's delivering the award for best actor at least, but where's Andy Serkis? Do you know what I mean? Like Andy Serkis should be delivering that award. Those are the people that should be doing it it's those types of people.
Yeah, like because he helped forward the video games industry.
Yeah,
he's done more for the video games industry than Al Pacino has.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we had this conversation last year as well. It's just about finding some form of class to the Games Awards that they just don't have. They're slipping more and more into the Spike TV version of the Game Awards, which is just celebrities and like buy some Mountain Dew and oh my god, this movie's coming out. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about the awards. Same issues really, but it is what it is. It's the Game Awards. It's what they do.
So saying here the King's Quest is developed by The Odd Gentleman. Sierra Entertainment.
Yeah, so it was the couple that set up Sierra Entertainment basically. I think they worked on King's Quest. I'm pretty sure they worked on King's Quest. I'm gonna look it up as well because
Ken and Roberta Williams.
Yeah, the guys. Yeah, guys. That's
pioneering the graphic adventure game genre. Right. Okay.
That's them.
Huge huge.
Yeah.
People.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's those sorts of people that we should be having every single year for every single award. Like the only way that they're ever going to fix this and give some level of respect to the developers that they apparently care about is split up the awards from the trailer section. Because I like trailers more as much as the next person. Like, give me more trailers. That's great. Like, have a Winter Games Fest, but also just before that, have like a 2-hour period where people are in ties, suited and booted, all that sort of stuff. They do the proper awards bit. If nobody watches it, fine, whatever. They still get their moment and they still get their level of respect.
And they don't need to. So many industries have awards ceremonies and no one else cares apart from the people in the industry.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
That's what it should be. Like we're trying to be recognized by our peers. We're not trying to get recognized by the general public.
Not trying to use it as a platform to make money.
Right. And that's the difference. That's the difference. That's the problem with Keighley. Like, he's trying to do both, and I just don't think it's going to work long term, because like what's going to generally happen, the more people that you bring in, the more gamers that you're going to bring in, they're just going to be like, well, where are the trailers? Like, screw this stuff. And then you're just going to be annoying.
We don't want you. You're not here for that.
Right, that's my point though. Like, you're going to annoy the gamers because they don't want to see the awards bit, and then you're going to like annoy the developers because you're not paying them respect anymore. So all you're really going to be doing is just annoying everyone.
Making everyone unhappy, yeah.
And it's just, it's diminishing returns over time. And it's kind of like, you just need to pick a lane, Keighley. Like, or pick 2 lanes and split the lanes up.
Yeah.
Don't do this like jump in, jump out sort of thing. Like, I understand like the main award, like the Game of the Year award, like being at the end of the trailers. Like, that's fine, because like you actually do give that its moment, unless Bill Clinton jumps in. But that's a different story. That's fine. But like all of the other stuff, like all the other awards, they should have that moment, because like having 5 awards announced in a row without you even announcing the people that are nominated, and then just announcing the winners and without them coming up on stage, it's gross. It's really, really gross. Being a dead horse here, but yeah.
Well, this was a very long introduction. What we're trying to say is, welcome to Polygon Forest Podcast. We're going to watch some game trailers, and then we're going to talk a bit about the Game Awards, which Vin has seen. I've not seen, apart from the news and the Twitter and the clips and things. So I know kind of what happened, the main headlines. So we're talking Flute Guy. We're talking Bill Clinton.
Let's get that stuff out of the way first, because then we can talk about some trailers, right?
Okay.
Like, I've already spoken about like a lot of this stuff, but yeah, Flute Guy. Yeah. Oh my god, this guy, the Flute Guy.
Flute Guy is great. I love Flute Guy. Pedro Eustache, I think. I'm probably butchering his name. Apologies.
Okay.
And he's a flautist, reed player, woodwind player, and composer, and instrument maker. And he's played with everyone. He's done film scores. He's done so much work. He's worked with London Symphony Orchestra. He's worked all across the globe. He's worked with some big people. I know he worked with was it Vangelis? Who did he work with? Blade Runner guy.
All I know is that guy was just happy to be there, right?
Oh god, he was so happy, so passionate.
Because just before they announced the Game of the Year award, they have traditionally what Keighley has been setting up, which is great. Like, they have like a medley of like all of the scores from all of the games, sort of playing through, and they switch between the different scores, and they sort of merge into each other, and it's a great piece of orchestra that they do every year, and they should continue to do that. It's great. It was seeing that guy, like I clocked that guy immediately because
everyone did,
and he's directly like in front of the composer, like bang in the middle, so you cannot miss him because you got all these panning shots and he's constantly in the center. But I lost count of the amount of flutes that he had.
He was like one flute,
right?
Two flutes,
it was
3 flutes.
It was incredible, and like within. Because it wasn't like I played it back or anything and I was counting through it. I was counting through them as I went. I was like, he did not have that instrument a second ago. That's 2 instruments he's playing. And then, like, just as I was thinking that, he's putting down another flute and picking up another thing. And it's like this complicated thing. He's like, and going nuts. And then he picks up, like, a pen whistle and stuff. And it's just...
Yeah.
The guy was just super happy to be
won
there.
awards. He won awards for Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ on Woodwind. He's worked with Hans Zimmer on Pirates of the Caribbean. And he's done Middle Eastern flutes and worked on Steven Spielberg's Munich and John Williams. So he's worked with everyone.
Incredible.
I worked on Dune. Oh, yeah, that was it. That's what I saw. I saw him on a documentary for Dune, and he talked about how he worked with Hans Zimmer a bunch and what they did to make the woodwind instruments for Dune. And basically they just went ham on these woodwind instruments and just made these impossible things that only he could play.
Nice.
And, was just crazy.
Bananas. The guy was he was just super happy to be there.
So he deserves all the credit he's getting for being so enthusiastic because he's done so much for film, and I'm guessing video games as well, but obviously this Wikipedia page will only really go into films, but I'm guessing he's worked on a load of game scores.
I can imagine.
Hence
so.
He's sat there.
Composers are quite they're becoming quite nebulous about what they work on these days anyway. Like Hans Zimmer's done a bunch of video games. It's just a lot of people don't, like, he worked on a Call of Duty game. He worked on Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, like 15 years ago or whatever. So, yeah, it's they're becoming a bit more nebulous. I think actors are becoming a bit more nebulous about what they work on too, because motion capture is motion capture, and they're kind of getting used to that process in the movie industry. And now that video games pretty much use the exact same the exact same technology. Like there's really no difference between doing them. So, which is good. Like, it's good that we're sort of, but don't bring on actors that haven't worked on video games whatsoever, please. Like, just stop it, Keeley. Just stop. I know it's Al Pacino. I know. I look, I get it.
It's great that you could get someone like Al Pacino, but that's for the fans. It's not for the devs.
Yeah. It's not.
So I sent Vin an image. We'll talk about Bill Clinton next. So, so at the end of the Game Awards, when, spoiler alert, Elden Ring won Best Game.
Yeah.
But this 15-year-old kid, Matan, he came up and walked up along the main walkway as the Elden Ring people were coming in from the side, got up on stage with the Elden Ring developers and looked around as if he was an alien coming out of space and seeing what humans were all about. And then he went on this rant, and I'm sure you've all seen it, and he wanted to dedicate the award to the Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. And then he got quickly escorted off by security soon after that. What did you make of that when you first saw that? Because my experience is different, because I saw it first on Twitter. So mine was like, right. I just saw Bill Clinton's trending on Twitter. Did you see the Bill Clinton guy? And I was like, something happened with Bill Clinton. Obviously, Bill Clinton got some sort of reference at the Game Awards. And then I saw pictures of this 15-year-old kid. And then I was like, okay, is there an invader or something? And then he said, hey, my name is Bill Clinton. That's what I thought. And then I saw the video clip. And then I was like, huh, okay. And then I understood everyone's reactions, like, what the hell was that all about? Like, what happened? So what was your initial reaction then? Because like my experience is different to yours.
Yeah, because I was watching it live, right? So like we sort of saw it unfold. Like me and my wife were both watching it, and like I saw him going up. Like I didn't see him come out of his seat. Like you can go and see he's actually sat like 5 rows back or something. But he walks up with them. And he stood behind them, and like usually the entourages for like Japanese developers, they normally have like a translator with them, maybe the producer or something. But then there was just this kid in the back, and we was like, who the hell is that? And like I remember looking at Rachel at one point and just being like, why is there a white kid on stage? Like who the hell is that?
Yeah,
sort of thing. And then didn't think anything of it. It was like, oh, it's probably like the guy that was like actually presenting the award like previous year, because he kind of resembles that guy a little bit, I guess that you could say, like the guy that was actually presenting the award. Maybe it was his son or something. Didn't think anything of it. But then he started like weirdly going back and forth behind them, And it was like, like that's strange. Like, well,
That's odd behavior. Yeah.
and then like obviously Miyazaki gives a speech, like thanks everyone. So like, oh, this is wonderful, that's all good stuff. And he's like, hey, thank you very much. And then like the music kicks in. It's like dun 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 dun, and then it cuts. And this kid starts like talking. And I was looking down. I looked up, and it's just this kid at the mic, just rambling on. And I didn't hear it like at first because his accent was so like thick.
It's very thick.
I couldn't quite understand it. And then he walked off, and I was like, "Who the hell is that?" And then just as like the camera panned out, like you could see like security rushing him. And I was like, "All right, that was weird." And then Rachel was like, "He said something about Bill Clinton." And I was like, "No, he didn't." It's like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, calm down, Rach.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I know it's been a long show, but no, he didn't. Why would he mention Bill Clinton? Why would you? Like, it clearly wasn't meant to be there. Why would you? Like, okay, like I'm gonna go to the Game Awards. I'm gonna plan it. I'm gonna figure out a way to get into the Game Awards. Get invited to the Game Awards. Plan. Then sneak in. Figure out. Do your research. Who do you think is gonna win Game of the Year? Figure out that it's probably gonna be Miyazaki. Okay, like I'm gonna wait. Like, I'm going to get as close as I can to Miyazaki because I'm going to hedge my bets and hope that he is going to be the one that wins. I'm going to sneak up on stage, and then I'm going to take this moment, and then I'm going to give a shout out to my Orthodox Rabbi. Bill Clinton. And then that's the plan.
Some people, right, I sent you that message. So Jason Schreier has said some thought his speech was an anti-Semitic dog whistle. So by Jason being a journalist, he's let people know that view exists. So this tweet from Jason Schreier, just spoke to the guy who interrupted the Game Awards. He says his name is Matan and he's a 15-year-old. Some thought his speech was an anti-Semitic dog whistle, but he is almost certainly a Jewish prankster. He understood a question I asked in Hebrew, then pretended he didn't. So what Jason is doing there is actually adding fuel to this fire that shouldn't have existed. It's bad journalism. Like, I didn't hear about the anti-Semitic dog whistle, but don't add fuel to that fire. Like,
it's not even that. Like the problem which I have about this, and like I'm looking at the tweet now, it says just spoke to the guy that interrupted the Game Awards. His name is Matan, and he's 15 years old. Some thought his speech was an anti-Semitic dog whistle, but he is almost certainly a Jewish prankster. So that's an opinion from trial.
Almost certainly.
Certainly. He understood a question I asked him in Hebrew, then pretended I didn't. So he didn't confirm it. He's going on assumptions and he's putting out his opinion. This is why I don't like Schreier, and he's blocked me on Twitter, so I don't care anyway. But that is bad. Like, he shouldn't be doing that. Like, getting an interview with the kid. Right.
You could say it is alleged that this prankster is a 15-year-old.
I mean,
Jewish
why is this guy considered the best journalist in our industry? Maybe he is. Maybe that's like the sad truth of it. Because if he is the best, then we've really got none.
I think that could be true.
Without a doubt, I don't disagree that Schreier probably is the best journalist, but if he is, then that says something really loud about our industry. Like, that's how little.
I think what that shows is that there's room for improvement and room for different types of journalism, because I think he's just a journalism of a certain type that has a certain.
He got famous because he leaked a bunch of stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, it served him well.
Oh, without financially, like he's had a great career. He now works at I can't remember where he works now, like Washington Post or somewhere like that. Like it's a major outlet.
New York Times.
New York Times. No, it's not.
Press Reset, Blood, Sweat and Pixels.
That's his book. I've read that. It's terrible. It's not terrible. It's just very biased towards like the view that he's got about everyone should unionize, even though he's not unionizing. And it drives me insane. And he's just written a second book about it as well, because that's his shtick. It's just fine.
He's got his agenda. He's not being a journalist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just talk about Schreier the whole time. But
no.
The point is, like, this isn't confirmed information, right? I mean, I don't know if the kid's a right winger. I don't know if he's like a prankster or whatever. Like, I've really got no clue. All I know is like
I'm assuming he was just a prankster. Yeah,
sure.
I
figured that, but like, if of all the pranks you're gonna do.
My thought was, it's a small industry. If he loves the video game industry, he might have stopped any future access into the video game industry if he wanted to work in it. So he might always be on the outside now because of this, because companies wouldn't want to go near him because they wouldn't be able to trust him. That's my only thought. And then I was like, it's video games. It's just a bit of fun. It's just silly. We're not saving lives.
Yeah, of course. But I mean,
some people are really angry. Like, they ruined the moment. Like,
yeah, I can imagine. Like the only thing which is like the moment himself, like him coming up on there doing a prank, whatever. I don't care. Like if he wants,
how fuming Keeley was.
I can imagine he wasn't very happy. Like he got the kid arrested, so like he's out now. Obviously, if he's talking to Schreier. But
did you see the tweet? That he just put the person? I can't remember what the tweet actually said, but it was like the person that invaded the.
Yeah, the
speech.
intruder has like been arrested.
Intruder's been arrested.
Full stop. And it was like, all right, fair enough. But the problem is with that is now that Keeley has got this whole security issue on his hands. Because if you can sneak up on stage with the Game of the Year winner and just stand there like a ninja, and it's just like, okay, what's stopping some crazy person doing that next year and hurting someone? That is a legitimate question. That's what they should be digging into on this. Like, Schreier like putting out his opinions about like, oh, he's almost certainly a prankster, and he's clearly like, these are his opinions. It's like, this is your opinion. Like, that's not a fact. Like, tell us what like the deal was. Like, why did he go up on stage? What was his objective here? Like, was he
present the evidence and leave the reader to draw a conclusion?
The only thing I want to know is how he achieved it, how he did it, how he got up there. Like, because that's kind of important. Because if you're a Game of the Year winner next year, like, are you going to be like, all right, who's on stage with us, sort of thing? Because that's a legitimate thing. Like the video games industry is kind of, the gamers can be kind of rabid. Like we've had SWAT teams come to the studio that I've worked at. Like that's how angry they get. Like if you seriously think they're not going to get angry at like the other side winning an award one year, like we need to take this a little bit more seriously, guys, because it could get pretty hairy. Like in terms
that's
of
the world we're living in.
Yeah, unfortunately. Like, and we've got to admit that, and that's the thing that Schreier should be digging in on, not like what the kids' views are. I don't care what the kids' views are. I don't like that's not for us to know. Like if he wants to like spread that information whatever way that he can, that's fair enough. But like the freedom of speech and all that sort of good stuff. But at a private event like this, there are security concerns that like need to be sort of drilled into and addressed. And the fact that the kid was able to do this is kind of nuts.
I'm sorry I riled you up about Schreier. We're running out of time. Shall we quickly go through the winners of the Game Design Awards?
We should.
Okay, because I've got you on one of your rants, and
Schreier, man, like stop putting Schreier in front of me. Like that guy, he just riled me up.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So best game direction, Elden Wrong win. Elden Wrong win. You could tell I should do a podcast for a living.
You should. Your talking's perfect, so like that would be a good career for you, I think.
Elden Ring won best game direction.
I hate that award. Like
God of War Ragnarok was there.
Nobody knows how people direct. What research do they do to check like how good of a director they were? You know what I mean? Miyazaki makes great games. Is he a good director?
What about playing games? How can you? So you have to play a game and then go, I think that was directed better. What's the metric?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it riles me up. But yeah.
Anyway. Best audio design, and Stray got in there. Stray, how was that well direct? Like what cat? Again, it's popularity contest, isn't it? It's like, Stray was a good game. Stray has cats. Let's give it a best game direction category. Best audio design, God of War Ragnarok won that.
God of War Ragnarok won a lot, just so you know.
Yeah.
A hell of a
lot. I heard it did. Best audio design. Yeah, I thought the audio design on that game was fantastic. Wait, when was Horizon out? When was the last Horizon out?
February.
Not Horizon Forbidden West.
2016.
Oh, okay. Wait, I mean Forza Horizon.
Forza Horizon was last year.
That was last year. Okay.
Yeah. I think that won best audio design.
I think it did, yeah.
I believe so.
Best indie. So we got Cult of the Lamb, not heard of that. Neon White, not heard of that. Sifu.
Sifu.
It's the Stray one.
The martial arts one. Like I'm doing this because like that's the best way I can describe it, because it's just motion blur hands and just him kicking ass. But yeah.
And Tunic. So no Death's Door. Was that last year, Death's Door?
No, that was a couple of years ago. Death's Door didn't win much, and that astounds me because God, that was such a good game. Yeah. Such a good game.
Best role-playing game. Again, what does that mean?
RPG. Yeah, it's hard. RPG is hard because like RPG elements have leaked into absolutely every single genre these days. Like,
how can you
Elden
how do
Ring
you define that?
Elden Ring
Elden
is
Ring
technically Elden Ring 1, and it's technically an action RPG if you want to be semantic about it.
But to me as well, is like, did you feel like you're taking on the role? Like, did at best encapsulate the role of a character?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
'cause
you
could
do
be anyone
become
and do anything. Like, you could be a mage, and the only thing that happens is the mage spells are different to the knight spells. It's not like the game changed based on who you were.
right.
So to me, a role-playing game is like best encapsulate a role. Like, if you're gonna be semantic about what is defined as a role-playing game, RPG.
Yeah, so because
it's not
people
like, which
people
one's got
don't.
the best leveling up, like the best leveling up game.
That's
the stupid thing.
that's the funny thing, right? It's because like when you ask a gamer to define an RPG, they don't define it by the story anymore, which is what is in the genre's title, which is role-playing game. Like, you're playing a role of a character. What they define it as is the leveling up, is the stats, is the min-maxing on the weapons and stuff that you have. In that case, like, Elden Ring does tick off all those boxes, but
I guess
fundamentally, yeah, it's tough. Like, it becomes more and more nebulous as time goes on because, like I said, everything technically, God of War is an RPG. If you want to be like semantic, it's got level up.
You level up all the stuff.
You have weapons that you find and discover and stuff. Like, you play as a character, like you're playing as Kratos, like for the majority of the game.
Yeah,
that's technically an RPG if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's an action RPG, but it's defined as an action adventure game, which is really the differences between God of War and Elden Ring are actually kind of thin for the most part. Like, they're very, very similar games. Like, you're fighting against enemies, you're leveling up your weapons and all that sort of stuff. You find new weapons and you're putting on new clothes and all that sort of stuff. Like, you're pretty much doing the same thing. Like, there's really no difference.
Exploring. Yeah. And then you've got Best Action Adventure. Plague Tale Requiem's on there, so that's great to see that.
I'm glad that it got nominated for a bunch of stuff.
Great game. God of War Ragnarok won that, and yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Stray's on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Tunic, which is cool. Like, good to see that.
It's a cute little game.
I
really need to go and finish that game off.
I want to play it because it's been nominated and had some nods. I need.
It's on Game Pass, I think, as well. So
cool. Best ongoing was Final Fantasy
14.
14.
Just Chris trying to read Roman numerals is my favorite thing, I think. There's a 10 and something.
I'll do a TikTok of that moment and see how well that does.
Chris tries to read Roman numerals again.
Chris tries to read Roman numerals. That could be a series. That'd be great. Best community support, Final Fantasy 14.
Hey, there you go. Learning your lesson. It was actually 15, but that's okay. I'm joking. It was actually 14. No. It was actually 14. You're okay.
X1 5 14. Okay, cool. Innovation and accessibility, God of War Ragnarok. I heard that I haven't seen it because I didn't explore, but
Sony.
Oh yeah,
it's across the board.
All of the they had this cool thing where you could blur. I'm sure you've seen it when it started up the game. You got the blur behind the text. I took that off because that was better for me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it was on there, and that's a new technology that I've not seen before. So that's probably what they've won it for.
Yeah, I mean, Sony studios in general, like PlayStation studios, they're kind of getting uniform a lot of the time. So like they always get nominated every year. It's like, okay, it's a toy cast who wins this one because it's like we've got blue characters and so amazing. Don't get me wrong, like it's great. But how do you choose them winners is like it's kind of.
It's arbitrary. It's a great place to be in that we're at a time where one studio is running away and we need that, and then hopefully everyone's going to catch up later. Best score in music, God of War Ragnarok. Interesting. A Plague Tale Requiem wins that for me because that's got some of the best score in music that I've heard. I've talked about this on podcast before.
I really want to play that game.
Since Mass Effect series, it's got the best score in music. And Journey. Since Journey.
I go back and forth on good audio design. It depends on music and score and sound design and stuff like that, but yeah, it's tough.
But Plague Tale Requiem, oh my god, they did some stuff that just send chills down my spine just by listening to it.
Nice.
Absolutely amazing. Most anticipated game, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Shocking. I am stunned. Like, tickle me, shocked. Look at me.
So shocked.
Starfield
was on there, so that was good to see. And Final Fantasy 16.
Hey, there he is. Look at that guy. Yeah, he's learning.
Check this out.
It's like, yeah, the one's in front of the 5 this time. I know this one.
Content creator of the year. Is it really bad that me as an indie dev that wants to get my stuff out there have no idea who these people are, but Ludwig won?
Yeah, Ludwig won. I know Ludwig. I only watch him sometimes just purely because he does like GeoGuessr stuff, which is completely outside of the games industry. But yeah, I knew that. But I can't remember who else was nominated, which I wouldn't.
Carl Jacobs, Nibelun.
Yeah,
Nibelian.
Like that was the other guy because he reports on the stuff. Like he reports on stuff via Twitter. A lot of the stuff. Cool. So he's not really a content creator in like the usual sense. He's very much he just reports information out based on information that he gets. So good.
And QT Cinderella as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to see that we've got that because we do need that. They need to be represented because they do a lot for the industry now. Like more so than previous years. Like their roles in video games industry is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
They determine who plays what, basically.
Yeah, it's unfortunately true, but it is what it is.
So we need to get them on board and we need to get them integrated in the system and working best practices, etc., etc.
Yeah, that is the next step because right now it's the Wild West. Hopefully in time we sort of like become aligned a little bit better.
Yeah, unfortunately, Meta are leading the way with that, where they have the Meta like incentive or initiative, or I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah.
Where basically all the people are all in the same club and they all get access to the same release of content simultaneously, and they all get the same what's it called when you aren't allowed to do anything? Embargoes. They all get the same embargoes all at the same time, the same press packs all at the same time, and so it's a level playing field, so that there's no insider trading or like some content creators getting the drop on some games.
Yeah.
And money, so there's no bad practices going on there. So they're unfortunately winning the way. Unless there's any other things that like that, let us know in the comments section. But
yeah, I would like to know about that actually.
Yeah, I guess we're going to need to know about that soon, aren't we? With our games. Best action game, Bayonetta 3. That's cool. Oh, and Shredder's Revenge was on there as well because I heard that was an absolutely cracking game. So that's good. Best multiplayer, Splatoon 3. That's a surprise. Overwatch 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was on there. Multiverses, again, that's probably not a surprise. And Shredder's Revenge is on there. So that's interesting that Splatoon 3 got that. I might have to check that out then. Best sports and racing, Gran Turismo 7.
That was surprising.
I've not heard a huge amount about Gran Turismo 7.
That is surprising because Gran Turismo 7 has it's had a lot of controversy around its monetization schemes. A lot of people have been complaining about it, so the fact that got awarded is kind of that raised some eyebrows.
Well, to be honest, there's nothing really else that I've heard of. Well, you've got F1 22, and they're so-so games. FIFA, NBA, and then Ollie Ollie World.
I would have given it to Ollie Ollie World because that is a great little game. Like you should check that one out. Yeah, it's a fantastic little skateboarding game. I don't understand why that didn't win it. Like when they were announcing it, I was like, Ollie Ollie World's gonna win that. And then GT7 won it, and I was like, that is weird. Like I was not expecting that. Okay. Not saying like everything that I call out should win, by the way, but I mean like in terms of because that was kind of like an indie darling. Like a lot of people really really love that game, so yeah, it surprised me that it didn't win.
Games for Impact, As Dusk Falls won that. That sounds. I think I've seen that. That's kind of like a bit of looks like a cell shaded film game.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
The one where different things can happen. Yeah.
Branching narrative. Yeah.
Branching narrative. That's it. Yeah. Best art direction. I want to do a branching narrative game one day. Best art direction, Elden Ring. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful game, to be fair.
Yeah. Best AR or VR was Moss Book 2. Not heard of that one. Need to check that out then. Bone Lab was on there, but that didn't win. That's interesting.
That one actually surprised me. Moss is definitely more of a coherent game because it's like a platformer that you play. Like you're sort of looking around the world as you're sort of controlling the character moving around it. And you play as this little mouse, so it's got like a little sword and stuff. Really cute game, but yeah, I'm surprised that Bone Lab didn't win it because there's a lot of innovations going on in those games in particular, in terms of like how they're figuring stuff out for the rest of the industry. I'm surprised they didn't get
it. Best sim strategy was Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
I was actually surprised by that one just because, like, oh my god, an Ubisoft game won an award. Like, I don't know if that's against like Jeff Keighley's Creed or something. It might be. I think maybe he probably, I don't know, like maybe he got drunk when that one went through. I don't know.
Wait, was it this year that Assassin's Creed was out? Valhalla.
No, it was last year.
That was last year. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we only ever got nominated. We never win. But so it was surprising to see. But maybe like the Nintendo influence there sort of swayed it over a little bit.
Best narrative. Here was one that got some controversy. God of War Ragnarok won. I need to put my teeth in. The narrative is well deserved. That's amazing. Horizon Forbidden West was on there.
I disagree with that. Like, I really don't like the narrative in that game.
I think if you wrote the narrative down as a novel, I think it's pretty good narratively.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like, if it was a movie, I think it would have worked.
Yeah.
As a game, I don't think it works.
Requiem. We're really glad that got a nod in best narrative, because I was really like, how are they going to keep the narrative going from the first Plague's Tale? So the fact that the continuation
tease me, man.
So well done.
You're teasing me.
So well done.
I want to play that game.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Elden Ring. This was the controversy. Everyone was like, "Oh, Elden Ring should win. It's the best narrative."
No, it's not. It's terrible.
It's so good. Oh, there's so many different things. And then other people were like, "No, that's stupid. Elden Ring's not very good narratively."
It's very not. It's really not. World building, absolutely. Like, in terms of like world building and like the background sort of nuances to the mythology around Elden Ring, absolutely, because it's just dripping with mythology, and that's great.
I know it's dripping with mythology, but to me, I've not really explored it.
Narrative,
but
though,
to me,
no.
It feels like, are they cohesive? So do things affect other things? Because if it's just quantity of like, hey, here's a pot that's a dude, hey, here's a dragon that lived, hey, here's a god that did this, and it's just like they just all exist a few meters apart from each other, and they don't know that anything else exists.
No, they are. It is very well mapped out and planned out. Like, in terms of like world building, like all of the things that are mentioned in the little stories all connect to something else. That's why the fans love it, because they're like they're trying to figure that out. But I would the distinction between that and world building and narrative are just completely different. So best narrative. Like, the main story that you do in Elden Ring, it's garbage. It's terrible. Like, you're not playing the game for the story. You're not.
There's
like,
no beginning, middle, and end.
Oh, what's going to happen with the Tarnish next? Like, nobody's doing that. Nobody cares. Like, everyone just wants to be like, all right, let's go to this next boss that's going to kick my ass 5,000 times until I eventually get over it and be like, yes, I did it. Because that's what Elden Ring is, and that's the blunt end of it. So the fact that it was even nominated was kind of surprising to me. And
the fact with Ragnarok is you've painted yourself into a corner. You've said, hey, here's the end of the world, and then you've put that, and it's Norse mythology, so it exists outside of the game, and then you've got to put this anticipation onto a sequel. So they had a huge mountain to climb.
Yeah, there was so many. Going off on that a little bit, like the whole Ragnarok narrative. We're probably not going to watch any trailers today, by the way, guys. Apologize.
No, we're probably not going to. We'll probably do that next week.
We're not going to have time,
yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But we'll go through all this sort of stuff another time. But the narrative of God of War Ragnarok it cracks me up at times, because like Loki within that narrative. Like, when certain thing, and I haven't finished the end of the game, but if you've read anything like any Norse mythology stuff, like raw Norse mythology stuff, like Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book is amazing. Like, everyone should read that, because that's like raw. Like, that's what they actually heard. These were the actual stories, and some of them are just absolutely bananas. Like, find out how Odin gets his horse, for example, it will blow your mind, and it won't make any sense. Like the world serpent.
The stuff with Loki and the wolves, that's always a bit like.
Right, there's a bunch of stuff like that. So, like the world serpent, for example. Okay, I'll give you a run. I'll give you one example of one of the stories in Norse mythology, and Loki is like within the middle of that quite a lot. And if you finished the first God of War, like, none of this is in spoiler territory, right? So the whole aspect of the world serpent, Fenrir, and Hel. They're actually all three of those are Loki's kids in Norse mythology. Which, if that doesn't give you pause to start with, you're just like, wait, what? Like, how does that work out? Not only are they his kids, they were all born at the same time, which is incredible. So Loki gets bored one day, goes off to the land of the giants, decides to have an affair with one of the giants there. They get it on for a little bit. Loki gets bored, goes home, right? And that's it. Like, that's the main story. the giant that he's like been getting on with has 3 kids, and the Aesir, the gods, actually find out about this and like, like we need to go and get Loki's kids from this giant because like the giants are bad. We don't like the giants. We're fighting the giants all the time. All that sort of good stuff.
But isn't Loki a giant anyway?
Yes. No. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it's ambiguous. Okay. But so the Aesir all go to the land of the giants to get Loki's kids back. They succeed. They get the kids back. And as on the way back, they start to realize like, okay, the first baby is a snake, and it's a small snake that they've got it. But like as they're traveling back to, it's already bananas, right? Like you're already losing your mind. Like what is happening right now? Like on the way back, the snake keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like by the second, it's just like, and it gets so big that it's like, this is getting out of hand. We can't take this back to Asgard, otherwise it's just gonna like take over the place. All right, throw it in the river. That's what happens. That's how the world serpent comes about. So then it just grows in this river, and that's why the world serpent's so big.
And that's the beginning of the world, right? That was like the dawn of the world.
And then like the other one is Fenrir, which like Loki's getting on with a giant, but they had Fenrir. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so they've got that, and they keep Fenrir, which is fine. But then like the third child is a little bit messed up, and like why is she so like crazy and stuff, and like, okay, like this kid is so messed up, we're not even going to take her to Asgard. What we're going to do is create a whole new realm for her, and we're going to call it, we'll make that the underworld, and we'll put her down there. What we're going to call it, we're going to call her Hell. Awesome, great, that'll do. We'll put her down there, and we'll just keep Fenrir. That's how the kids come about, and that's how like, so Loki basically causes the end of the world, which is great. Knowing that, and you're playing God of War Ragnarok, you're like, none of this really lines up. And like, even
it's funny because that side mission when he goes and creates those, it's just really weird. It's like he's a kid, and you know, the button bashing, it's very so strange. Messed up.
And it just like a lot of it doesn't line up with any of the mythologies either. So like when you first see the wall, for example, like Loki is there when the wall is being built around Asgard. So you see that in Ragnarok, and you're like, this doesn't actually line up like timeline wise. So I don't know. I haven't seen the end of the game. Maybe there's like a time element in this somewhere. You're already smiling.
I was joking about that being a side mission.
Right. So there's all of this sort of stuff. So like there's all of these things which it just doesn't make any sense. But like do not read the story about how Odin got his horse. Like it'll break you. Like don't do it. If you do it, like tell us in the comments what you thought of it, because when I first read it, I had to close the book and was like, okay, I'm done with that book for a while. It's not
bananas. Yeah,
it's insane.
Best adaptation, Arcane League of Legends, and then you've got Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and then you've got the Cuphead show, Sonic, which is actually pretty decent. Harrison loves that, and it's got
really good things about the Sonic ones. Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Uncharted, the Cuphead show, because all of the stuff is the 30s cartoons, and it actually delves into those things as well. So it's like they're living in the 30s, and so Harrison is actually learning a lot about history vicariously through the Cuphead show.
Interesting.
So he's asking me about like, what sort of kettle is that, and why is that used like that, and asking about things like the devil and carnivals and all the different machinery and the telephones and things like that, all the old world technology that he doesn't know about.
Fascinating.
And so it's really, really clever. So they've done a good job, and they've kept it very of the time. Even the relationships are quite old fashioned, and he understands, he knows that it's old fashioned by watching it. So he knows that the relationships are old fashioned as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of clever.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like this award, like the addition of this award, because like we're only going to get, like, obviously The Last of Us is going to win it next year no matter what happens, because it's Sony and it's The Last of Us and the fan base.
Yeah.
But like I like the fact that they're promoting it in this way at least. So this was a good addition to the thing, and seeing that like come about was great.
Yeah, and then you've got best debut indie.
Yeah,
which is interesting. And Stray won that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's basically I kind of have a problem with Stray being titled as an indie game, because it's not. It's a AA game. It's published really by Sony. It's not an indie game. Being the case, it's not an indie game. I don't know why they define it that way. It's kind of like, it kind of gets to me.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it did hit all the boxes. So like popular, very popular.
It's a great game. Great game.
Solid game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think some of the other smaller indies are like, if we're doing something a bit beyond the norm. It didn't do anything out of the ordinary. What it did do, it did well, but I think that from what I'm seeing on Twitter is that it won a lot and was nominated for a lot, whereas there was room for other people to have a nod.
Yeah, I think that's why it probably gets to me about the AA thing rather than it being like a true indie. Because if it was defined as like a true AA game, like I wish they would have that category. Like, what's the best like AA game? Like, that would be great.
Yeah, it should have its own. Yeah. Because then that would clear the way for the indie title. So there's someone else to come through.
There's some 100%. Genuine like indie developers out there, like teams less than 5 people that aren't like funded all the way through, but they might get published at the end for the like the final bit or something like that. Maybe Stray was. I'm not entirely sure, but it came across like Stray was very heavily involved with PlayStation in whatever way, and that doesn't feel like a true indie to me. I think it's more we use indie as a buzzword these days rather than like what it actually means. And there's
maybe there should be like a category where you could categorize it based on people, number of size of team, or like marketing budget, and there's like some sort of cutoff where it's like you can't win this indie award because your marketing budget was too big or the number of people on the team were too big.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't know how to define it. I wouldn't have an answer for that because there's probably a lot of micro details in those facts which you could circumvent around AAA and stuff like that as well. It's a great question.
We still got a lot of games to get through. It's 20 past now. We've been doing this for about an hour.
We got 55 minutes. So
okay.
We're at 55, so we got 5 minutes. So keep going.
Best performance, Christopher Judge as Kratos and God of War Ragnarok.
Man, his speech like was the longest thing. It was hilarious.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He plowed through like the warnings and stuff. You could see like the red light flashing in his face, and he's just like, "I don't want to thank my family." he was just going for
kept
it.
Going.
Yeah.
He's God of War. You can't stop him, really.
Right. What are you going to do? Like, if he gets the axe out, you're all screwed.
It was good to see Aloy nominated Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley Budge. Great actress.
Her performance was great.
Absolutely.
And Charlotte McBurry as Amicia in Plague's Tale. She got nominated. That's amazing. That's great to see. It's like the little engine who could that game. It's been nominated loads.
AA games, man, they're the future. I'm really happy with the way. Yeah, I mean, like between Hellblade and stuff like A Plague's Tale, like we need to invest in these things more.
Yeah. Oh, and Atreus got nominated as well.
Of course.
Cool.
Yeah.
Best Family. Well, he did a great job as a young actor. He did a really good job. Best Family, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Yeah, that looked like really good fun. I was watching a few streams of that. Lego Star Wars. That again, it's Lego Star Wars. You can't go wrong. Nintendo Switch Sports, Mario Rabbids, and Spark of Hope. Best Family. So you got nominated twice, Finn.
Yeah, it's about the wins though. We get nominated all the time. That's the bone that we get, but we're stained at the moment, quote unquote. So we're not allowed to win stuff apparently.
Best mobile game, and again, you could probably categorize this in different categories, but Marvel Snap won.
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I've need to check that out maybe. Best fighting game, Multiverses. That's the new one with all the different characters.
I'm not a fighting game player, unfortunately. I'm a fish out of water, that stuff.
Yeah, I've dabbled. Yeah, seems cool. Best esports game, Valorant.
Sure.
I don't know what the criteria is.
Yeah,
what makes the best esports game? Is it the
It's the shareability of it. Like if they have competitions and stuff.
What gets the most viewers? I guess on.
I have no idea. I don't know how they define it.
Best esports athlete, Jacob J. Whitaker, Cloud9, Valorant.
Cool.
So they must be part of Cloud9 as a team.
Totally
good for them.
Yeah, I feel like an old man when it comes to. Whenever I see esports stuff, I'm like, man, I'm just like this has gone past me now.
It just feels alien to me.
Yeah.
I feel old. Yeah.
Yeah, and not in a bad way. Like it's absolutely a great thing.
I'm glad that it's happening. Yeah, I'm glad that the younger
Yeah.
generations are taking in a direction they want to go in.
It just confuses me.
Best esports team was Loud,
Sweet.
and they played Valorant.
Well, maybe they should quieten down a little bit. Ah, sorry.
That'll be our team name. Quiet.
Quiet and old. Anyway.
Best esports coach. They have coaches. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Mathis Buzka.
Do they stand in the corners with like hoodies on? Like
And towels.
Right,
Like,
towels around the neck. If they don't have towels around the neck, I'm going to be so
tap
upset.
out, Rocky, tap out. You can't take it no more.
Oh, God. Your fingers are broken. So go ahead.
Best esports event 2022 League of Legends World Championship.
Sure.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
That's the best one. Player's Voice, Genshin Impact.
This was the controversial one, which I don't think it's
That was the
controversial
mobile
at all. I think it's raw numbers, man. You give the vote to the public. This is the thing, like they should never give like the full vote to gamers because this is what happens. It's
and
a
Sonic
popularity
Frontiers
concept.
was nominated. And is that, again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. Is that because it's a Sonic game, loads of people love Sonic, like, oh, I'm going to vote for the Sonic game because I love Sonic.
I don't know how
It's just got lots of fans.
because I think what happens is I think the journalists, which like the committee of journalists, like come together and give the nominations, and then the players vote on the nominations, which is just like that's the perfect storm of just like a shit show in my opinion.
Worst of both worlds.
Right,
Isn't it,
it's just awful. Like just make a committee of developers, please. God, just please. Keeley, just please make a committee of developers.
Do the right thing, Keeley. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
And they'd do it because the people do for BAFTA. Game of the Year. Plague's Tale Requiem. Oh, I can't believe that got on the list. I didn't even know that. Elden Ring won, obviously. God of War Ragnarok was nodded. Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah, it's too bad none of them won because obviously, I mean, Bill Clinton couldn't be there, but he was at least, he got his recognition he finally got.
Bill Clinton, funnily enough, he's like involved in all of those games, so that's just bizarre. Is that bizarre or is that a fix?
I don't know.
That he's the one that's behind all those games.
Right. It's a conspiracy, man. I'm telling you. I
think it is conspiracy.
It's the cabal that's like finally, I don't want to go into this joke too much because I don't want to be put into that algorithm. You know what I mean? It's like we start showing up on all the right wingers like feeds and stuff.
No. And you hate a specific journalist. Well, don't hate, but you have criticisms against a specific journalist. That would fit into there.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We are maybe
right-wing
we are
activists.
maybe we are right wing activists and we just haven't realised it.
No.
I don't know.
Read the media and question. That's all we can say.
Facts, man. Like
facts.
Just stick with the facts.
And listen to professionals and
which does not include us. So good luck on your search for a good podcast that has professionals, because we can't even read Roman numerals, nor can we talk. So that's the.
Well, I mean, strictly speaking, you are a professional, then, aren't you?
I'm not a professional podcaster.
No, but you're a professional developer.
That's fair, but it's besides the point. It doesn't mean I always know what I'm talking about. I can admit to that.
Okay. And on that bombshell. Should we watch the trailers next week?
We absolutely should, because we got no time right now, and I've got to go back to packing. So that's my life, unfortunately. Oh well.
Well, at least it'll make editing a lot easier.
It will. Like all I have to do is give you the frame, and that's it.
Perfect. Well, if you like the state of the editing of this video and want to give it a thumbs up and a comment on how well it looks professional, please do so. We also do a solo dev roundtable every so often with the developer Sam.
It's been
Webster.
a while. Yeah, we need to go back on that.
We are well overdue for an update on that, which we'll be doing
soon. I
sometime.
hope. We'll probably start that again in the new year and really like have a proper go at it, and just stick to schedule. Because I know Sam in particular. If you are like excited about this, but Sam has been like working a lot on his game, and I think he's got a lot to show. So
he's got a lot to show.
Actually really looking forward to seeing what he's gotten up to. But
yeah, same.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, hopefully in the new year we'll be able to share some fun, exciting news for you. So yes, until next time, please subscribe, and so you know when we're going to be back on.
Absolutely. Chris, where can people find you, sir?
Good point. So if you search for Acrylic Pixel, which is kind of my handle, you'll find my video game that I'm working on, Focus Find. It's like a mental health 2D puzzle platformer.
Lots of balls.
Lots of balls. You can wishlist on Steam. You can follow me on Twitter. I've got a YouTube channel and a Patreon page if you wanted to support the making of the game.
I do that.
What about you? And Vin is subscribed, so it can't be bad. And where can we find your stuff in?
Yeah, you can find me on the internet, I guess. Like if you just Google Hill Fort Games, you will find everything that I'm up to. So I've got a Twitter account. One day I do want to set up a Patreon, but I'm not quite there yet. If you want to wishlist my game, Long Gone, which is on Steam, you can check it out there. I'm also on TikTok, which is at Hill Fort Games. Apparently the Gen Zs like me over there. That's a thing. And
They do.
yeah, anywhere else, basically. You can also find some of my concept art on ArtStation. If you search Vin Hill Art, then you can find some of the stuff that I've done for Ubisoft on there. But if not, then that's cool. Like, you can catch us on here every week from now on, we hope. It's gonna start ramping up, especially into New Year. Like, obviously, we got the holidays coming up, but we're going to be a lot more consistent next year, I hope, because things are a bit more settled down now, or they will be. So yeah, look forward to that. Please like and subscribe, share with a friend if you haven't already. We really, really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, all that sort of good stuff. Until next time, ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.